Welcome to Lest We Forget, the Associated Black Charities podcast series dedicated to preserving Black history and understanding its profound impact on our present. In today's episode, we delve into a topic often deeply ingrained in the fabric of our society: the history of derogatory language used to assault Black people and the Black community. From the era of slavery to the present day, Black individuals have endured the sting of derogatory words designed to dehumanize and to degrade. These words, steeped in a history of oppression, continue to inflict harm and perpetuate systemic racism. During slavery, Black individuals were subjected to demeaning epithets that stripped them of their humanity. Words were used to enforce power dynamics and justify the brutal exploitation of enslaved people. These derogatory terms were not merely words. They were weapons wielded by oppressors to reinforce the dehumanization of Black individuals and to justify their subjugation. Even after emancipation, the use of derogatory language persisted, perpetuating stereotypes and reinforcing racial hierarchies. Today, we see this language weaponized by politicians and public figures who seek to undermine Black officials and discredit their achievements. Take, for example, the recent insensitive comments made by Utah Representative Phil Lyman regarding the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore, Maryland. That he would co-opt this tragic moment of loss of life to weaponize his ignorant views on diversity initiatives and wield remarks to assault our Baltimore Port Commissioner and other officials is outrageous. These remarks disrespect this moment of suffering and are unacceptable. D.L. Hughley also wonderfully used his massive platform to shine a light on the assault of Baltimore's mayor, referred to online as the DEI mayor, in the aftermath of this bridge collapse. How very unacceptable. But we understand what those who make these comments really mean and really want to say. We understand that they are conflating the term DEI with the epithets that, like our mayor has said, they don't have the courage to say. But we hear you, and there will be a reckoning. Furthermore, here in Maryland, let's not forget the recent overt use of the racial slur jigaboo by Senate candidate David Trone. Accidentally or not, his word choice serves as a stark reminder of the enduring power of derogatory language to inflict harm and perpetuate systemic racism. Derived from a history of oppression and dehumanization, words like these have no place in our discourse. And with all due respect, they are not used by those who don't organically have them in their vocabulary. Perhaps because words like that aren't taught in schools, people not only don't reasonably know what they mean, but aren't tapped into the extreme and unforgivable harm that they cause. Surely a Google search can tell you that word is a contemptuous term for a Black person. But allow me to teach. The origins of that term can be traced back to the early 20th century, particularly during the era of minstrel shows and blackface performances. In these performances, white actors would often portray exaggerated and caricatured versions of Black people, perpetuating harmful stereotypes and reinforcing racial hierarchies. When the term was appropriated by white society, it became a tool of oppression and dehumanization. During the height of racial segregation in the United States, that term was used as a means of reinforcing racial superiority and justifying discriminatory practices. It was employed to belittle and demean Black individuals, denying them their humanity and perpetuating harmful stereotypes about their intelligence, their behavior, and their worth. When it flows off the tongue like butter, it evokes a legacy of racism and oppression and is deeply hurtful and offensive. It is the equivalent of a swastika, blackface, a noose, a burning cross, and a Confederate flag. These words, just like these symbols, are weapons of hate. And it takes just one slip in 1 second to harm whole communities. And apologies don't fix that. Action does. Associated Black Charities, as a racial equity organization, seeks to offer the grace of education and learning for those who don't know what to say out of their mouths and don't truly understand the harm that words cause. For that reason, we extended our established executive coaching and racial sensitivity rehabilitation services in this very instance, believing that apologies have to be accompanied by action. It is unfortunate that our services have not been urgently engaged in this case. We believe in grace, and we believe there's always hope for course correction, but individuals have to be willing to do the hard work to be better. We always stand ready to support this work for the representatives I have referenced and any others. Black individuals deserve respect on our names, our experiences, accomplishments, contributions, and our brilliance. No longer will we quietly tolerate the assaultive words and actions that seek to diminish our worth. We demand respect on our names. When you refer to Baltimore's mayor or other Black leaders, anything less than the honorable will be met with our unwillingness to accept you or your platform. We will reclaim our dignity, challenge the derogatory language, and demand the respect that we deserve. ABC will certainly unapologetically lead in doing so. As we confront this history, let us remember that words do matter, but so do our voices. They matter. Our stories matter. Our votes matter, and our lives matter. We don't have to accept this harm, and we shall not. We know who we are, and as we confront this history and the ongoing assault on Black people, we must recognize the urgency of change. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Lest We Forget. Let's continue the conversation, share our stories, and work towards a future where Black dignity is upheld and celebrated. Let's continue this conversation, share our stories, and stay tuned for more insightful explorations of Black history and its impact on our world today. Remember, just like the use of derogatory words, history should not be forgotten. It should be understood.